Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. More disturbing news out of South Africa, which increasingly has become a lawless country. And more evidence of this today from a magistrate who is either incompetent, corrupt, or simply a racist in reaching a decision which beggars imagination. The Randburg Magistrates Court today ruled that economic freedom fighters leader Julius Malema, who was busy heckling President Ramaphosa in Parliament as I record this, and Member of Parliament Ndolzi were not guilty of common assault. Now, what am I referring to? This is an event that occurred, 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now. Their crimes, they finally get a judgment 4.5 years after they commit the crimes, although this magistrate says they committed no crime. The pair were caught on a video in an assault on Lt Col Venter in April of 2018 at the Four-Way Cemetery during the funeral of disgraced ANC member Winnie Mandela, convicted of kidnapping during the apartheid government and then convicted of fraud by the ANC from stealing from the people while a member of parliament. But at the funeral in April of 2018, they attacked Lt Col Venter, who was from the Presidential Protection Unit, who was there responsible for access to the site. Now, the two claim that Venter tried to stop them from entering the cemetery, and he had every right to do that. His job is there as presidential protection. It is his right to determine who can come in and who cannot come in. And they claim to act in self-defense. Unfortunately, the video shows that they didn't act in self-defense. They repeatedly assaulted him. Now, for those of you trying to fiddle around with the definition of assault does not require that someone gets punched or attacked with a punga or a knob carry. They assaulted this man. Now, this is the twisted logic of the magistrate. And I quote, "I find that the action of the accused at first glance appears to be unlawful. But after carefully assessing the evidence, one can never assault any other human being to gain an entry." Well, of course they can. People are murdered on farms every week in South Africa, and they're assaulted in their homes after people gain entry to their homes illegally. The evidence in its totality also confirms the version of the accused before the court. What version? That they were in self-defense? Lt Col Venter never attacked them. He never touches them. He retreats as they assault him repeatedly. Now, I quote once again, "The accused lack intent to commit the offense of assault in this regard." Even when the court assessed the version of the accused, the court finds that the accused version is reasonably, possibly true. Therefore, I accept that the defensive justification is to be applied and the accused had no intent to insult the complainant. Both accused are therefore found not guilty and acquitted of the charge. Now, interestingly enough, in the three news sources I found for this, including News 24, IOL, and EWN, Eyewitness News in South Africa, not a single South African news source names the magistrate who reached this twisted logic, who just acquitted these two men who assaulted a law enforcement officer. If you or I assaulted a law enforcement officer, we would have been in jail 4.5 years ago, not getting a free pass today. Now, this comes on the heels of AfriForum's case against Julius Malema for inciting violence by singing the racist song, "Kill the Boer." Now, unbelievably, a court found that that was not racist and that it didn't incite violence, despite the fact we have evidence of people who use the blood of the victims they torture and murder on farm attacks and write it in blood on the walls. Despite the fact that Julius Malema and his number 3 sang that in Senegal in October of 2020, and then exhorted their followers to burn the Boer out. And within 96 hours, nearly 100,000 hectares of cropland were torched in the Free State, leading to the near death of one farmer and massive destruction, not to mention the death of livestock and untold numbers of wildlife. This is a disturbing trend in South Africa. You can commit a crime if you're politically connected, especially if the crime is against a minority. It's open season on South Africans who are minorities by political figures. This is an incomprehensible decision. The video speaks for itself. They're guilty without any doubt, not reasonable doubt, no doubt. The fact that this magistrate can twist the logic and come up with this nonsense is a troubling sign. If you're a minority in South Africa, you should be terrified. Political figures can assault you, harm you. They can rob you through their corruption. There's nothing you can do about it. But God forbid you utter an Arabic word culturally appropriated to be used as a slur when you're in shock after being assaulted and attempted robbery. For that, you're a convicted felon and you go to prison and you're painted as a racist. But you can assault a white police officer as an arrogant asshat black politician on video repeatedly. You can fire a weapon into the air and then steal the cartridge, the receiver, and change it so that you can defraud the police investigation. You can sing kill people, exhorting people to violence. You can exhort your followers to attack a business, clicks, and nothing happens. It's a volatile situation in South Africa being propped up by corrupt magistrates like this case right here. And it's a sad day when people can attack others based on their skin pigmentation. We found that abhorrent and went after those who lynched Jews, whites, and blacks in the South during the Civil Rights Movement. In South Africa, people found it abhorrent when they claimed the police did that during apartheid. Yet this government sanctions and approves the assault of senior law enforcement officials because their skin pigmentation isn't sufficient to overcome the privilege, the black privilege of politically connected elites in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, this is disturbing. It's unbelievably disturbing. This is South Africa in the 21st century. It's pathetic. It's so sad. South Africa is an amazing country full of amazing people. Sadly, it's run by corrupt bureaucracy, a corrupt political regime, and by incompetent opposition parties. And there you have it. Julius Malema found not guilty of assault. You watched the video. What do you call this? A hug? A kiss? A sign of joy? There's no defense for touching another person and shoving them. No one has the right to do that. Thanks a lot, folks. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button right down there. Become a subscriber and help us overcome shadow banning.